Okay, everybody, welcome back. Welcome to a stroll through the new Signum Plaza. I'm ready. You ready? Ready for a stroll through the plaza? Let's go. So, first, to explain what the Signum Plaza is. As I've recently discussed in the State of the University address, the Signum Plaza is the center for all of Signum University's premium content. Now, what is premium content? The core answer to that question is premium content is content we pay people to make. Essentially, right? There's sort of free, there's like podcast material and free broadcasts. Those are one thing. Premium content is stuff we've done in the film studio, lectures that we have paid people to make, books that people are writing. One of the so there are two things that our premium content stuff has in common. One is that it has caused us money to create. The second is that, and therefore we charge money to people in order to consume it. The second is that we pay royalties on it to the creators who make it. This is something that's important to us. Everything that we publish, everything that we put up for sale, we want to compensate people for. We want to pay royalties for, and we want to pay those as generously as possible. So this is why we charge for our premium content, though we try to make it always as affordable and accessible as we possibly can. But anyway, the Signum Plaza. This is our, as I say, our premium concept area. Now, the Signum Plaza has two different storefronts in it, right? One is the Signum Collaboratory, and the other is the Signum Store. The Signum Collaboratory was originally launched sort of in beta form a year ago. So we've been exploring the Collaboratory and experimenting with things and kind of ironing some things out over the last year in the Collaboratory. And today I'm ready to kind of reintroduce it and show people what the Collaboratory has grown into. In addition, we are launching for the very first time the Signum Store. The Signum Store is, however, although the Signum Store is new and the Collaboratory has been around for a year, the Signum Store is fairly simple. Everybody knows what an online store is, right? But this is the fundamental concept of the Signum Plaza here, is that we wanted to give people two different ways to access our premium content. You can download, you can purchase things once and download them from the Signum Store and keep them on your devices forever. Or you can subscribe through the Signum Collaboratory. And when you're a subscriber, you get access to everything. Every piece of premium content that we have, you can see in the Signum Collaboratory. Okay, there are a couple things that we're still adding to it, but although it's still in process and always being in process of added to, that's the theory behind the Signum Collaboratory. Now, the difference is you're not permitted to download things from the Signum Collaboratory. You'll be viewing things within the context of our web page, of our web app here, and to interact with it in ways I'll show you about the interactions. So your access will stop if your subscription stops, right? So if you want to just be able to view stuff and go through our entire library, you can subscribe to the Signum Collaboratory. Again, if you want to purchase something and download it and keep it forever, you go to the Signum Store. That's very simple, right? Okay. So let me show you how things work. Let's start with the Collaboratory. So let's go to the Signum Collaboratory. Now I'm logged into the Signum Collaboratory. And what we get here is our circulation library. The circulation library is the heart of the Collaboratory. This is where all of our premium content lives. and you can see that we have a great deal of content that we have generated. So we allow you to interact with this in a couple different ways. First, you can look at our major sort of brands here. Signum Press, the books that are currently in process with the Signum Press or already published. We have one that has made it through to publication, A Waiter Made of Glass by Verlin Flieger. Collection of stories and short stories by Verlin Flieger. We have others, including my book, Exploring the Lord of the Rings, Volume 1, that are still in process. But you can still read them, what has been completed in them. Even though they're a work in progress, you can see what's been going so far. So you can click on the Silmarillion Primer by Jeff LaSala, and you can see the chapters that he has completed, 5 chapters so far, plus some additional introductory material and stuff. So these are the sort of the completed stuff that's been pushed through into the library here from the press. You can look at our lecture series. This is really exciting. This is a new thing, a very recent thing that's been added to the Collaboratory. You will now be able to look at the entire history of our graduate archives. What we used to call anytime audits, sort of phasing out that vocabulary now because the Signum Plaza now exists as our premium content area. So instead of just getting access to individual, you can still get access to individual recordings, of course, through the store. But now when you subscribe to the Collaboratory, you get access to all of the stuff. So you want to look at the full lecture series of our Introduction to Old Norse from our MA program. All of those Introduction to Old Norse lectures are here. So you've always wanted to be able to read Old Norse yourself, to read Viking mythology in the original language. But you can't even fit our space modules in Old Norse into your schedule. Like you just don't have time for synchronous classes. But you would love to be able to proceed at your own pace through our lecture material. Wonderful Dr. Anderson's lecture material on Old Norse. There you go. Now you can through the Collaboratory. And then maybe Michael Drout's Introduction to Old English class and all the lectures there. Oh, and then maybe Introduction to Germanic Philology. What is Germanic Philology? What the thing that Tolkien studied? What even is that, right? Well, we've got the detailed introduction to Germanic Philology here as well. Look, Andrew Higgins' Language Invention Through Tolkien class. Oh, yeah. So much fun. So much fun. So many things here. Oh, hey, look, Lewis and Tolkien. If you want to hear... So this class was so much fun. This was the second class I ever taught at Signum in our graduate program. It was looking at C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien and looking at the different ways in which they sort of approached similar kinds of stories or similar kinds of challenges. And one of the other fun things is that if you watch these recordings, you can see me lecture when I had hair and with a hamster in the background. So audible in the background, not visible in the background. Don't want to promise too much there. Anyway, so all of this stuff, huge things. But wait, there's more. In addition to all of our graduate lectures, many of you have been involved in our space program know that in this past year, we've had a number of hybrid space classes, which are half lecture and half discussion. And those lectures, those shorter lecture series, are available here as well. So things like Amy Sturgis's Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. She did a space module on that wonderful new book. And has her series. So this is the series of lectures from her space module. We have... here it is. Aristotle's Poetics for Storytellers, one of our creative writing modules by Julian Barr. this was, as I recall, part of the Novel in a Year series. So you can listen to Julian lecturing about Aristotle's Poetics and what that has to tell us today as creative writers. Really fun stuff. Anyway, so those are sort of the big things. There are other things. Fan tracks. What are fan tracks? Fan tracks are super fun. This is a program that's just getting started. But fan tracks are this is the brainchild of Maggie Park and Ben Davis from the Signum Studios. And basically, these are audio tracks that are commentary tracks designed to be played alongside TV shows and films. So, for instance, if you look at, if you want to watch the Rankin Bass Hobbit, and then you can listen as an audio track to me and New Better Do Better from TikTok. He and I sat down and recorded a commentary on the Rankin Bass Hobbit together, which was so much fun. I had such a great time having a conversation with New Better about this. So this is a really, really fun initiative. We're gonna have more of these that are gonna be released. Again, it's just an audio track, so it's like riff tracks except analysis, not comedy. Not that there's no comedy, right? But it's not just comedy. It's designed to give you some interesting things to think about as you're going through. And of course, we have multiples. So you could go through the same film or the same TV episode with different commentators to think about things differently. So anyway, all of our fan tracks are available here in the library. Again, there's the fan tracks button. These are basically filtering buttons. We have the entire list of projects that you can just browse through if you would like, or you can click any of these to sort of isolate those particular things. Now, let me explain the second row here. We also have fiction, academic, and presentation submissions. So we are really excited to bring in new content from new people. So when people make a submission, when they submit a work of fiction means could be poetry, could be any creative writing, essentially. But we wanted a single word. So if you submit a piece of creative writing that you would like us to consider publishing, if you send an academic work, an academic essay, maybe your master's thesis, right? Maybe it could be book length, it could be article length. If you submit a presentation, which we might try to develop into a lecture, that a standalone lecture that we could sell, or even develop perhaps into a new custom lecture series. That's something that I'm going to be really excited to see happening. We have sort of two different levels of decision making when it comes to our submissions. First, we have our fiction, academic, and presentation curators who make a sort of initial decision on works that we're not interested in right now, and works that we would like to circulate among our subscribers to get their feedback on. Because when you're a subscriber to the Collaboratory, this is the main thing that defines the Collaboratory, that makes the Collaboratory, that's why it's named that, that makes the Collaboratory different from just any old subscription content service. And that is that you're not just a passive consumer of content. And one of the ways in which you can be actively involved in the process in the Collaboratory is to give feedback on submissions, because we will be going through and we will be selecting some of the submissions, fiction submissions, academic presentations for publication. We will put them out for sale in the store. And they will be earning royalties both in the store and here in the Collaboratory once they're accepted officially for publication. Once we accept something for publication, then more production work. Again, I've talked before about the correlation between cost and time, right? Anything that takes a significant investment from our staff is something in general, as much as we can, that we want to charge fairly for, so that we can compensate both our staff and the creators involved. So when things are published officially in our lecture series, by the Signum Press, by Signum Studios, Fantrax is sort of a separate imprint of Signum Studios. Those things will be published by those, will put up for sale, and we'll be earning royalties. In the meantime, you can be reading and watching some of these submissions and letting us know what you think. Our subscribers are part of the process. You guys are on the inside and can really help us to figure out and decide what to do. So let me just drill down again. Let's look at exploring Beowulf. What a treasure this is. My goodness. So Michael Drought approached me about doing this a couple years ago. And he was like, I want to take everything that I've learned about Beowulf and I want to put it all in one place. And I was like, we're here for you. So Exploring Beowulf does that. In Exploring Beowulf, Michael Drought has gone through the poem line by line. Each one of these is a separate audio lecture. So as you see, this is 52 minutes of content on the first 11 lines of Beowulf, right? Awesome. So in order to listen to the first 11 lines, you click through there, and over on the right here are the media files. So this is actually to access the media files, and you just hit play, and you'll be able to listen to Michael Drout's lecture here. You can also make comments. So this is the comment board. The comments have been newly added here. You can write comments as you go, and you can respond to other people's comments that you see. The comments will be automatically synced to the timestamp of where you're listening. So you're up 27 minutes through, and you notice something cool. Okay, 25:09 apparently, and it marks that. If we go back for a second, let's go back to the Rankin Bass. This has Julian was just watching this and making a bunch of comments, which is really fun. So when we have comments here, notice you can sort them by newest or oldest. You can also sort them by time. So as you go through and listen through, you can see like the progress of other people's comments. And when you respond, your comment will be fit in based on the timestamp. This works with timestamps for audio files, timestamps for video files, and page numbers for texts when you're reading stuff. So our comments section here is a really fun way to interact with folks. We also have Discord channels within the Signum University Discord if you would like to get together for sort of more back and forth discussion with folks. But the comments will sort of stick with each of the different media files here within each project within the library. So that's a glimpse of what's here in the circulation library and sort of how it works. But there's still a lot more in the Collaboratory, because as I said, the chief difference with the Collaboratory between this and a normal content subscription service is that you get to be a part of things. You get to be in the room where it happens. So I want to move on to these next two areas. Project rooms. These are works that have been accepted for publication, but which are still in development. And people who are members, every subscriber gets to choose at least one project room to be involved in. And when you're involved in a particular project room, you get to see drafts and other sort of works in progress elements. You get to make comments on those. So the author of the novel that you're following. So this, for instance, is Michael Drout's How to Learn How to Think. This is his work on the liberal arts and the history and purpose of the liberal arts. So if you want to look at his chapters, you can see drafts of his chapters and make comments on the drafts, so that and he will receive, like the author, the creators of these projects will receive email notifications when you make comments on their works. So again, you are in the project rooms. You are part of the unfolding events, both in Signum Press and Signum Studios. We may have, when we develop custom lecture series, we may have lecture series in here too someday. We'll see about that, but definitely Press and Studios for right now. But then in addition, you can also support and connect with particular creators more directly through our creator circles. Creator circles are a way in which people can, as I say, both connect with and support individual creators. So Mike Drout has a creator circle. New Better Do Better has one. Caben Abraham, Jeff LaSala, and I all have creator circles. In creator circles, you have monthly meetings with the creator in question to discuss, and they will come to you with questions and tell you about what they're thinking. You can ask questions yourself and just kind of see where they're going and what they're doing and hang out with them for a while. And they also get additional royalties, significant additional royalties from people who are subscribed, who are members of their creator circles. So it's a great way to financially support your favorite creators as well. So these are ways in which you can engage. And if we look at these again, let's go to Mike Drout's. You can see both. You can get when you're a member. Okay, I need to add him to my subscription. Okay, so I better do that. And then you can get access to this is a recording of the Zoom meeting that he had with folks on December 18th. This just like gives the Zoom link for people who are in the creator circle to be able to join. Anyway, so we have the library where all the content lives. We have the project rooms where some of our big works in progress are happening and you can be involved behind the scenes. And then we have our creator circles where you can connect directly with our core creators themselves. That, in a nutshell, is the Collaboratory. Now, let me show you our different. So in this first tab, we have some basic explanations of how things work here, in case you forget anything. This is a tour which, helps you to find things and stuff as we go through. Some FAQ down at the bottom. And pricing. So let me talk about our 3 different subscription levels. You can have our essential subscription, which is $8.99 a month, our premium, which is $14.99 a month, and our patron level, which is $29.99 a month. The essential, which is our sort of lowest level of subscription, gets you access to everything in the library and 1 project room. The premium subscription gives you access to 2 project rooms. And then at the patron level, you get access to the library, to 3 project rooms, and to a creator circle. You can also add on additional project rooms or additional creator circles if you like. That's other options there on the subscription level. So for as little as $9.99 or $8.99 a month, $9 a month, you get access to all of our content. Again, you can view all of our lecture archives. I say all, again, asterisk, they're not all in here yet. So for those of you who are familiar, who have been hanging around Signum for a long time, there may be a particular course that you're looking for that has been available through our Anytime Audit program that you don't see yet in our circulation library. We're converting them. So one of the things that we're doing is we're not just making the old video files available here. We're refurbishing them a little bit. One of the primary things that we're doing, so take for instance the classes that I taught back in the day, like my Lewis and Tolkien course. I was looking at there a minute ago. It may surprise some of you to hear that when I had my regular class sessions, I didn't always get all the way through all the content that I meant to. And sometimes I kind of spilled over into the next session talking about stuff. So one of the things that we're doing is kind of condensing everything together so that you can get like all of what we discussed of a particular work in one thing. And also the old recordings often had not quite evergreen announcements. Things like, I'd be talking about like the paper that was due that week or something. And that week might now be 10 years ago in the case of Lewis and Tolkien. So yeah, there have been some, so we've been doing some editing to kind of package them a little bit more robustly. So that's a process that we're undergoing. We're releasing these at a pretty good clip now, actually. And some of them will even be put in the library on a sort of a developing basis. That is, we might put a course up here, but all of the lectures aren't in it yet, and we'll be releasing those lectures as we go through. Exactly, the Signum University remastered series, Matt. That's exactly what it is. Okay, so that's the circulation library, project rooms, creator circles, our subscriptions. Now let's talk about how do you get in? So right now I'm logged in. Let me sign out. Okay. When you come, you get to this screen, the Plaza screen I started out. If you go to the Collaboratory here, it gives you the opportunity to sign in or sign up right away, or you can just go and you can browse. You can look at the library. But now you'll notice that we've got the Start Your Subscription button up here, right, and the Sign In button up here. Because if you're not signed in, then you're not going to be able to see stuff, right? And you can sign in without making a subscription, because the sign-in that you do, this is a Plaza sign-in. So the sign-in works, the same sign-in works for both the Collaboratory and for the Plaza. And yes, to answer one question that I suspect people are going to ask, is this a different sign-in from like my BlackBerry sign-in? Yes, it is. BlackBerry and this Signum Plaza system are different systems. So you can use the same email for both, but it's not the same account. It doesn't just correspond straight across. Okay, so if I were to look here, for instance, hey, I want to read Roland Flieger's book of stories and poems, I can see it, right? But if I want to look at, I have got to start my subscription, right? I can't do this while I'm not logged in. So you'll get directed to create a sign-in and to start your subscription, which just, okay, this takes me, I gotta sign in first, right, before I can do that. All right. Let us hop over for a moment to the store. I've talked about half of the Signum Plaza. I become half of the Signum Plaza. What about the other half? The new half. Are you ready for the ribbon cutting? Welcome to the new Signum University store. So the Signum University store runs on the same web app that the Collaboratory does. So that the back-end apparatus is unified behind these two. Here in the Signum store is designed to be as simple as possible. Here is the store page. This is all the stuff that's for sale. Again, downloads that you can download and keep forever, including, so it's by latest. Yes, we just posted these. These are the two latest classes to be remastered. The Ursula Le Guin class by Professor Swank, and the Race, Gender, and the Other in Tolkien's Middle-earth class by Professors Vaccaro and Dr. Sarah Brown. So anyway, so this is kind of functions in a way like our library before. We see these three buttons up here are filter buttons again. You can be like, hey, so from the, there it is, Waiter Made of Glass, Verlain's book, and we'll have some more books that are complete and published. You might say like, well, hang on a second, why were there more things under Signum Press in the Collaboratory, right? If I go back to the Collaboratory in the library here and click on press, there's a bunch of things, right? Where are well, that's because these aren't all finished yet. Exploring Beowulf is very advanced. My book, still in its earlier stages. Flower of the Cedar, very close. Silmarillion Primer making great progress. Freya's Garden, which is new. Not move very far. So again, in the Collaboratory, you not only get to participate in the project rooms, even if you're not in the project room for these individual projects, you still get to see them as they come. So a chapter at a time, as a chapter is finalized, it'll get released into the Collaboratory library. So you can follow these projects as they're ongoing. But when it comes to selling them out in the world, we kind of need to wait till they're totally done. So that's why Waiter Made of Glass, Verlin Flieger's book, is the only book that's currently listed, but more are coming down the pike. Now, Signum lectures are the majority of what we have here. Again, these are all of the different lectures. You will notice both the shorter space lecture series. So Irina Menea's Viking Hogwarts class on battle magic and mythology in the Norse world. That is, Irina is a wonderful preceptor in our space program. I got to meet her over in Stuttgart. I have a delightful memory of our conversation in the beer tent at Volksfest, at Oktoberfest over there. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, you can see her lecture series here. Now again, unlike the Collaboratory, where you just kind of click through on each of the media, each lecture and then get access the media files and watch them right away. This is the store. This is right so you can add this to your cart and then purchase it for download. But of course, we're not signed in, so we can't put anything in the cart. That's why we see the register to add to cart button. So let's do that. Let's sign back in. Yes, that's me. Okay. Thank you for welcoming me back. Here we are. And now I've got an add to cart button. So now, if I want to buy Irina's series, I can just, there it is. It's in my cart. Easy done. Or I just click through. And there's an add to cart button here too. In my cart, here it is. I can remove it from my cart. Now, one of the things you will notice in the cart is that as a special, because we've just cut the ribbon on the new Signum store, we're having a store-wide special. Everything in the Signum store is 33% off. We're approximately 1/3 off. 1/3, of course, is a difficult fraction to do. Computers are very unforgiving about 1/3. But anyway, that's why the sale price is $40.20, because it's like 33% without the decimals. Anyway, okay, so everything is 1/3 off for the first few weeks here at the Signum store. Okay, so I'm going to remove that from the cart, and I'm going to go back. Look, I could add it right back again. Okay, maybe I want to look at, Liam Daly's Inventing King Arthur, Geoffrey of Monmouth's History of the Kings of Britain lectures. Oh, yeah, those are more space lectures. Got a bunch more space lectures here. Tolkien and Alchemy by Dr. Sarah Brown. Dr. Anderson's Old Norse Sagas in Translation. His Njal Saga lectures. Tolkien and the Romantics. Ooh, yeah. Lots of fun space classes. Pilar Barrera's Introduction to Oscar Wilde's Fairy Tales. Look at all those space things. Oh, and then non-space things. There's Andrew Higgins' Language Invention class. Larry Swain and Gabriel Shank's Classical Myths and Legends class. My Story of the Hobbit class. Oh man, that was, what was that? Fall of 2013 originally? When I first taught that? Lewis and Tolkien again. Okay, let's say Classical Myths and Legends, because I want to get ready for the Odyssey movie, right? So I'm going to add this to my... You can see the list of lectures. And there's, by the way, we do provide the supplemental... So when we add handouts and stuff, along with the lectures, we provide those as well for download as part of the package here. All right, so let's add that to the cart. Oh, and there they are. Liam Daly's Geoffrey of Monmouth class and Dr. Swain and Dr. Schenk's Classical Myths and Legends class. All at 33%. Oh, look at that. All for less than the cost of one grad lecture pack. Pretty cool. And then you just click checkout and it goes through. We use Stripe. It's the banking website to do your checkout with. And that's a pretty straightforward checkout process. Okay, now, once you check out and purchase your download, you then go to your shelf page. And my shelf is currently empty because I haven't bought anything yet. Right, but when you complete the purchase, everything that you've bought will appear here on your shelf. It'll look like this, except it'll just be the ones that you bought, right? And you can always, when you have something, so say you made the very sensible choice to buy Dr. Swank's Ursula Le Guin class, then you would, instead of the add to cart button, you would be able to download the individual lectures or the whole set of lectures. So that's how the store works. It's pretty simple. We have some FAQs in case you have questions, but it's pretty simple. And of course, now a link back to the Collaboratory, because maybe you're having a problem. You're looking through here and you're like, I want everything, but I can't afford everything. What do I do? Well, one thing you could do is subscribe to the Collaboratory where you can get access to everything, right? So, so Matt asks a sensible question. Will prior purchases through the Anytime Audit system that we used to have eventually be migrated over, or will they be staying where they are now? For now, they're going to stay. Like if you have access to an Anytime Audit through our old system, you will retain that same access that you've always had. We may come to a day where we migrate all of that over here and we just set up, you create an account here and we make that for you. We put those things in your shelf. That's an aspiration a little bit down the road. For now, people who purchased and have been using the old system can continue using the old system. And I will say, we're not, I mentioned the process of transition of our lectures. Not all of them have been transitioned to the store yet. There's still a bunch of them that aren't available here yet because they're still in the queue for being remastered. Those are still available for purchase in the old way. So if you go back to our old Anytime Audit pages on our homepage, you can find our full list of lecture series, and some of them will take you here to the store. Those that have been transitioned will take you here. Those that have not will still be using the old form and the old system for now. But then once we've completed that, we will disable the old system for new purchases, but we'll still keep it around for people who have, again, to get access to things that you have purchased. And then we'll let you know when we can take the next step and clean everything up and get people into this. Okay, so Julie says, I want everything, but I can't afford everything. Does the subscription include AM and space? And well, okay, the subscription includes all of the recorded and published lecture series. So if there's a hybrid space class, the lectures will go in there. If there's a lecture series that is published as part of the graduate program, either the RMA classes or our AM classes, they also can go in there, and you'll find them in the Collaboratory. They'll be available for sale here in the store. Of course, what you can't get through the Plaza are our classes, our classroom experiences, because that's not what the Plaza is for, right? The Plaza is remember the fundamental divide in Signum offerings is, do you want classes or do you want content, right? If you want classes, you go to the grad program or to space. If you want content, you come here to the Signum Plaza, to the store and the Collaboratory. Or you go to Mythgard and go to our Signum University YouTube page and peruse some of the thousands of hours of content that we have available there. Anyway, so that is the story. That is how I think that was all I wanted to explain there. Yeah, in the store. pretty simple. So this is the new Signum Plaza. I encourage you to help us spread the word about this. We are continuing to add new content aggressively all over the place. And don't forget that if you want to be a part of that process, if you want to be a part of reading submissions and giving input on submissions so that we can see what are things that people really want to have made available permanently, that we want to make part of our permanent collections in the store. And therefore also royalties earning in the Collaboratory as well. Because I will say, by the way, within the Collaboratory, all of our published content in here, not the submissions, because they've not been accepted for publication yet, but all of the published content that we have here in the Collaboratory, people get, the creators get royalties just from your being involved. A significant part of your subscription money goes to support the creators. So if you are a patron and are a member of somebody's creator circle, as I said, a very large percentage of your the extra money that you pay to be at the patron level goes directly to support the creator that you are connecting with. Project rooms. Everybody who's a member, you get access to a certain number of project rooms. So you choose which ones you want. The membership in the project room for every month for every member of the project rooms, the creators are getting royalties for the work that to support the work that they're doing here in the project rooms as well. Even in the library, we have a pool of royalties that we collect. We take a chunk out of every single subscription fee every single month. So every subscription money that everybody gives every month, every subscriber gives, a big chunk of that is put into our circulation royalties pool. And we divide that up based on views among our published works. So the more the percent, the higher the percentage of views, that is the percentage of the royalty pool they get for a given month. So we are wanting to generously reward our creators as well, both in the Collaboratory and in the store. So in the store, of course, people are given royalties just as a percentage of purchase. Again, it's a one-time purchase. They get a percentage royalty based on the purchase. In the Collaboratory, again, it's based on views. It's a little more complicated, but I would add I would add that the kind of rights and rewards that the Screen Actors Guild, the screenwriters were striking for last year, we do it way better than what they were shooting for. I'm not even saying what they get. But of course, all of this scales. In the circulation royalties and project room royalties and creators, all of the Collaboratory royalties scale with subscribers. All of our creators will receive a percentage of the money that we receive. It's the single biggest thing that we do with the subscription money that we get is pay our creators. And so the more people we have subscribing, the bigger the pot is going to be, and the more we're going to be able to reward our creators, which is really exciting. As Christopher says, for our submissions, reader commentary is an indispensable part of the process. Our writers are looking for that commentary and discussion. It's our goal to help them create communities of writers and their readers for reader feedback. Absolutely. This has been one of the things, as we've been, as I said at the very beginning, experimenting with and developing the Collaboratory over the course of this past year. This has been one of the things that's been sort of slowest to grow, and that's activity and investment. My own personal sense that I get from people is that people are not used to thinking about a subscription service this way, right? They're used to just going to a subscription service as a passive source of content, which it is. It can be that also, of course. But at the same time, you can interact with it in ways that is just not possible to do, in like Netflix or Audible Unlimited or something like that, right? You can not only be actively involved in the sense of leaving comments that the authors and creators will see, and interacting with each other, but again, you will be a very real part of the process of the development of these works and of the selection for publication. It's a really exciting opportunity. All right. Aries asks, is there a dark mode option? What, for the store? So you will have noticed that one of the things that we did on purpose, because the Collaboratory and the store are like the yin-yang options, right? They're the two complementary options for how to interact with our premium content. You can either subscribe and view it as much as you like, but only for as long as your subscription lasts, or you can purchase and download, right? And so that's why we have one of them in light mode and one of them in dark mode, right? Because they're complements to each other. So we've done that on purpose. Is it possible for you to shift it over to dark mode? Probably. It's not going to be as attractive because we've designed this for light mode. But I think it's theoretically possible. Yeah. See, Aries asks, is it an interactive collaboration with people or for people? Yeah, both. You can interact with so you can interact with people in multiple ways. You can interact with other commenters in the comment section on every single media file within the Collaboratory. Like each media file, not just each project, but each media file has its own comment section. So you can interact with other viewers there. You interact with the creators by posting comments because they get your comments. You can interact more directly in the project rooms, where you're able to comment on works in progress and answer questions and give advice on how a thing is developing, or where they go next in their story or in their lectures or in their videos. And you also can interact directly through our creator circles in a Zoom meeting where you get to hang out and talk with them. So there in the creator circle, synchronous discussions are definitely available. And yeah, even in our comment areas, as I was suggesting before, those are also synchronous in a different definition of synchronous. They're synchronous because they are tied to the time. So if I say, let's see, let me do Amy Sturgis's lectures of Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. So I want to view the first lecture. So I go in, there's one media file here. Okay. I can be, there it is. Ooh, it's a space lecture. Okay, so I can be doing this. Let me actually mute this so I don't have it all echoey here. Right, I'm watching along Amy Sturgis's lecture. And okay, so here's Amy Sturgis, and she's talking, and we're seeing her slides, and she's discussing through. And notice again, see the time ticking over here, right? So as you make a comment, whenever you add your comment, it will be locked to that timestamp from the video. And so everybody else, and then when you have them, you can organize them by time, so that everybody you can see the interactions, right? So it's, again, this is synchronous interaction by a different the people commenting are not commenting at the same time, right? But everything is coordinated together. Anyway, the comment section is a really, really cool comment. Awesome. Other questions? Yes, Matt was saying he's got in fiction submissions. Matt has a manuscript in here. Here we are. Yes, the new adventures of Space Commander Buzz Williams. New beginnings. So yeah, absolutely. You can view Matt's book here. So you get a PDF, which you can view and read through. And again, notice the comments here. It's not quite as precise. Text is ironically harder in some ways to tie this to than timestamps on audio and video. But it does at least tie to the page number so that you can see how those go. So again, you can see how that works over there. Awesome. Yeah. So cool. Let's see. Ryan says, what's the difference between obtaining a lecture series through the Collaboratory versus purchasing an Anytime audit? One is the present and one is the past. That is the Anytime audits. That was our old mechanism. That was how we did the Anytime audit series. Began when the graduate lectures were all that we had. The only premium content that we had available for sale were the ability to audit the lectures of our graduate courses. So we sold those as part of our as parts of our Anytime audit series. And the mechanism that we've used for that was very DIY, right? We didn't have a fancy store. We were using Google Forms and Google spreadsheets and lots of people doing It's one funny thing that's happened a lot over the years when people have ordered our Anytime audit lecture series recordings, is somebody will place an order and they'll pay for it. And then they'll send us an email like 5 minutes later and be like, hey, I just placed an order. Like, where is it? I didn't get anything. And we're like, yeah, well, that's because there are hamsters in the back of this machine work. Like, there are human beings. Like, I was a part of that workflow. Like, we had like human beings who received a notification and had to go and confirm payment and then go through and add you to this. And then you had to be manually added to, like, there was like a team of 4 or 5 people in a workflow that had to happen behind the scenes in order for somebody to be enrolled in an Anytime audit course in order to get the recordings. That was fun. That's been fun. It's been fun for many years. But that's, we're phasing that out. And part of the reason we're fading that out is that it's old and clunky, and this is much, much, much more convenient and more stable, and quicker. But also because it's no longer true that the only premium content we have is our grad lecture series. Now we have all of these space classes that you were seeing in the store. And we have books that are being published, and we're going to have video series that are going to be published, and all this other stuff. So I encourage you to check that out. And, again, the Anytime audit is not gone away completely, because the not yet remastered videos from our old collection are still there. We don't want to take them out of circulation completely just because they haven't worked their way up the remastering queue yet. So for those of our videos, those of our old lecture series, which have not yet been integrated into the Collaboratory in the store, those are still available by the fun old antiquated Anytime audit system. But when we're done with the remastering and everything has been migrated over, we will shut down the old system. Yes. Sharon, our door ward, says whoosh. Whoosh. Whoosh is the official verb, by the way. If you've ever purchased an Anytime audit, you've been whooshed. That is a Sparrow Alden vocabulary. Sparrow is part of our workflow, of course, and her job was to put people into their classroom spaces where they could get the lectures. And she called that whooshing people into their classes. So yes, she's been whooshing people manually. Sharon made a little custom emoji, a whoosh emoji for whooshing people in. So yeah, it's been fun. The manual process has been fun, and we're often surprisingly efficient. Many people don't even notice that they're being a part of a manual process that requires 4 or 5 people to complete. Sometimes we can get it done like in a matter of minutes after the purchase happens, but it will be nice for it to be finalized. And I want to take time to give some enormous credit and some huge thanks to Darren Boyd, one of Signum's great supporters. Darren is the programmer who has created our whole Collaboratory app here. Everything that you see, everything behind the scenes, this entire web app that houses our Collaboratory and our media delivery and, synced up comment system and everything else. This has all been built 100% from scratch by Darren Boyd. And I'm so grateful for all of the work that he has done in making both the Collaboratory and the store possible here. So Darren is a star, and I am so grateful for all of this. With that said, and I know Darren would encourage me to say, feedback is very welcome. These are still especially the store, but we've been doing a lot of upgrades. We're making upgrades and changes all the time to both back end and front end in the Collaboratory and the store. If you've been in our Collaboratory before, you will notice the total redesign and how much different all of this looks. Again, all of that has been thanks to Darren's wonderful work. But we're continuing to improve and to develop it. So any comments or suggestions, any errors or bugs that you find, this email in the footer of the page, collaboratory@signumu.org. That'll find us. So just send that over and let us know, and we'll see if we can address some issues. Yes, there, gravity on Twitch is Darren. Thank you so much, Darren, for all of this. It's just been awesome. Okay, so that is the Signum Plaza, our premium content area at Signum. And now our continuum is complete, from the public Mythgard broadcasts and podcast material through the Signum Plaza and our premium content areas here for download and subscription, through our space modules and our intensive graduate master's degree program and graduate diploma program, or our new academic mastery program. All of this and our events, of course, regional moots and Myth Moot, are all designed to help as many people as possible find joy at Signum. If you would like to help to support this, we would love your support. First and foremost, by subscribing to the Collaboratory and purchasing things from the store and telling everybody else about this awesome, in-depth fantasy content, fantasy language, medieval studies, Tolkien studies content that you just can't get anywhere else in the world. But of course, also, you can donate to Signum University. If you would like to help kind of adopt this program and help this, our Signum Plaza to really flourish and to have an even stronger foundation for encouraging new writers and new lecturers and bringing in exciting new content, I would love to talk with you about that. You can go to signumuniversity.org. Where's my web page? There it is. signumuniversity.org. Go to the About page, the Donate page, and then click Continue to Form and get. Oh, hang on, I got to start my form again. Of course, it timed out. There we go. The donation form to make a one-time or a regular donation. If you would like to discuss, making a more substantial donation, especially here at the very end of the tax year, if that would be convenient for you, would be happy to talk to you about that. Just send an email to info@signumu.org, and we'd love to talk with you about that. Yes, as Dorward points out, another thing you can do, you can gift subscriptions to the Collaboratory as well. So if you would like to purchase a subscription for someone else, we can make that happen. Maybe it's an ongoing subscription. Maybe it's a short-term subscription. You want to give somebody a month or 3 months or something access to the Collaboratory. You absolutely can do that. Yeah, very cool. All right. Yeah, Aries, I agree. In a world of synthetic data, curator services for traditional, real human art and collaboration will be valuable. Yeah, agreed. Yeah. All right. So, thanks everybody. I wish you well and much joy in going through our awesome premium content here in the Signum Plaza. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you guys around. Bye now.